guys. I just thought I would show some of my favorite stuff from the honeymoon trip here. At the same time, just talk about the trip a little bit. I, I was in a hangout with uh, 13 Shadows and several others, and we got to talking about how fear is holding, you can be held back by fear and by not taking any chances. The whole honeymoon trip for me was ended up being about taking chances and battling through fear, and I got to do some really cool stuff over it. I'm exceedingly terrified of heights. I mean, really, 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 really bad. And there's circumstances behind that, and it's something I've been dealing with my whole life. Um, so we did things like going on the Grand Avenue tour in Mammoth Cave, which is a lot of up and down and slippery, kind of narrow staircases and stuff like that. You're 250 feet below the ground, and if you can't get out, it'll sometimes take like 8 hours to rescue somebody. So you either have a choice of sitting there the whole time and doing nothing, or if you get hurt, you're kind of waiting a while, or you get out. You go through the whole walk. So I actually went through the whole thing, the entire hike, and I had fallen the day before beside my car, and so my knee was still really torn up, and my wrist, we were still wondering if it had been broke by this point, but I wasn't going to deal with out-of-state health insurance and stuff like that because my insurance is pretty crappy. So I did this extremely sore, and by this point, the shoes were starting to wear out, so feet were hurting really, really bad, and still managed to struggle through it and get through the cave, and it was a really incredible experience. Well, then we went on other parts of the trip, like we were at the Intrepid Air and Space Museum, which is on this aircraft carrier. And once inside, the elevators had been shut down, so I had to climb these little staircases that you could see all the way to the bottom and things like that. And I don't do well on the third rung of a ladder, but I was pretty terrified. But my husband helped me, and there was another guy that was trying to coach me along, and I was bound and determined I was going to do it, and I did it. And I got to see the space shuttle because of this. I had no other way of getting to the shuttle because by this point on the aircraft carrier, all the elevators were gone. They were shut down completely. So if I had not decided that I was going to struggle through this terror that I've got of high places, I would have never have gotten to see the things that I did. The items from the ocean here on my altar, that was another experience because we were at a bed and breakfast in Cape Charles, and it's a private beach. The place is fantastic. It's called Baywood. If you're ever out that way, it's just a nice, homey, comfortable place. There's two big cats. They're super friendly. They're not allowed in the rooms where the guests stay in case people are allergic to cats. But the beach is one of those that has the drop off, and so there's a little decks and stairs and stuff. And I'm downstairs videotaping. Anyway, so you have to go down this. Well, during Hurricane Sandy, he had lost about 6 feet of his beach in the first place. And so he rebuilt everything. Well, before we arrived, there'd been a nor'easter that came through and kind of just made the stairs just a little cattywampus. Everything was still really, really sturdy, and nothing was shaking or anything like that. He's kept you know, he rebuilt everything brand new. And then, you know, that nor'easter had come through, but went down, and I got to play in the ocean for the first time in my life, and it was really, really an incredible experience. The tide was higher than it should have been, and so, you know, I sat up further on the beach and just let the water come over me and stuff like that, and it was just a blast. Something I never ever got to do. And so we did some beach combing, and I have a lot more wood upstairs. So we were joking that we had this massive wooden tarantula in the back of the car because I had picked up so much. And somehow we got it all home safely on top of all our souvenirs and everything else from the trip. So I have to figure out how I'm going to make this into a wand yet. This is how it came out. Of course, it was wet when I got it. And it is just an absolutely amazing piece. And this was my reward for going, you know, battling my fear of this little ladder system thing that, you know, that was high up. And besides the reward of being in the ocean for the first time, you know, I got to do that too. And we definitely want to go back there. This piece of driftwood here is just absolutely entertaining. He looks like a dragon. And I'm going to try, and once I clean off some of the dirt yet, I'm going to try and make this into a sculpture of a dragon. And I'm probably going to do, there's some pieces that are broken, I'll have to glue and anchor them, but I'm going to do mixtures of shells and things like that and try to see what I can come up with him. I do think the face is going to be coming down this way. And he won't be having wings. He's going to have fins. So it's going to be interesting with all these little things, how his fins are going to turn out. We had a ton of shells. We had horseshoe crabs. We saw one that was already dying, and by the time it got really washed up under the beach several times, it was gone. So we have those, and I'm going to paint on a couple of them. We probably could have waited and grabbed more, but the tide was supposed to be going out, and it really wasn't. So I got my ocean water for my altar. This is going to be going into this bottle here that I got at Michael's yesterday for $4. It was half off. And I just think this bottle's really awesome. And since this is just water for blessing and for ritual and stuff, you know, it's not anything I'm going to consume. And I also picked up at an antique mall in Cape Charles. I found a bottle about this side, you know, up to here, that has a ceramic top and the old wire and stuff, an antique bottle, and there'll be more water going into that. The sand, I got to figure out what I'm going to do with it yet. I kept some water in here. Again, same thing to be able to use for ritual. But there's also sand in here. And I'm thinking I might try and dry it out. I'm not sure. I might just leave it the way it is. But this bottle actually came from the ocean too. So yeah, that was it. It was really, really interesting. And I'll do other videos about things that we've learned once I put my thoughts together a little bit more. But there you have it. So blessed be everybody.